impossible. Our great Nigeria is very impossible. And useful. Obedient and useful. Our great Nigeria is possible. Our great Nigeria is very possible. For better infrastructure, for better life, yeah, my people. For better roads, yeah, for better hospitals and health, yeah, hey. For light today, for everything to work for us, for Nigeria. Yeah. No more hunger. Obi for better Nigeria. Obedient and useful. Obedient and useful. Oh yeah, Obi, get it. Hausa man, Yoruba man, Igbo man, Middle Belt, Niger Delta. Let us come together for better Nigeria. Get it. For better life, yeah. For better health, yeah. For better road, yeah. Get it. From consumption to production. Get it.
So, good evening, everyone. Nazezoke speaking to us this evening. As usual, it will be nice to know where you are watching me from. This is more or less a family meeting. Let me know where you are joining me from. I know it is late. A lot is going on. The campaign is ongoing on the train. And I've heard many of you complain of some of the things and some of the complaints you've sent across. We are doing our best to handle them. Now, it is still on the same matter, people. The same matter here. The topic this evening is Tinubu's drug trafficking allegation and APC defense. We want to know. Many of you may have seen Seun Okimbaloye's interview with Festus Kayamo. Many say he is a son, and people like me, in some senses, has begun to question his sonship. But it's neither here nor there. I want to also, for tomorrow, bring someone in, the person who is somewhat involved in this, has some better understanding in this case, a lawyer who practiced in the United States of America for so many years. He's going to be my guest tomorrow in my Friday hangout. Do not miss it. 7 o'clock tomorrow. Even if Madam is inviting you to the other room, don't miss it, because it's going to be, it's going to be very, very explosive. I will be having a barrister, Emeku Uguonye, tomorrow, and 7 o'clock Nigerian time. I think I would try to endeavor to bring him on this platform. Some people are saying that we should use Zoom. I said, no, we'll do it here, and so that everyone will join us. So it's not going to be a Zoom matter. Now, at some point, maybe when he makes his presentations and leaves, we may then go back to our Gbasgbos conversations, because our job is to enlighten Nigerians, is to give us options and alternatives, and for us to also understand what is actually happening. Now, for the shadow banning that is still occurring on Facebook, that is, oh, sorry, YouTube, it's on. Facebook is even worse. If you're watching us on Facebook, please, I beg you, share this stream and like it. You know, the Facebook has been crazy these days, you know, but again, what can we do? Also, if you want to support us, please, by all means, also support us in what we do. You know, you can use our information scrolling on the lower third there, especially the PayPal account. You can use our PayPal account or use the super chat, super sticker, and super vote or whatever they call them. Again, I have many of you joining me this evening. Someone says, watch Daniel Boala take on the issue just now on channels. Okay, I might actually bring him in. Onyenimo, ha ha ha, my very good brother. You joined the studio the other day, but it appears the madam didn't allow you to turn on your camera. But I know. I have Ego King watching me from Chicago. Onyenimo is joining me from the United Kingdom. Ophili, I don't know where Ophili is joining me from. And eventually those who may wish to join the stream, if you're watching us on YouTube, you see the comment section, the pinned message there. I already have one person, Tony, who is already here. Tony Cherenna is watching from the United States of America. So let's know where you're watching from, especially those of us in Nigeria. If you know you're burning your data and you're joining us from Nigeria, it would be nice to also know where you're joining us from. Now, people, brothers and sisters, I beg of us and ask of us one thing and one thing only. Are we able to please share this stream? Share it, like it. That's all. Share and like. You know, share and like. Can we just share and like? If we share and like, that's going to help us a great deal to overcome the shadow banning from the YouTube. Basically, they are shadow banning us. So, people, we'll quickly. Someone just pointed out now that there is Sheun Okimbaloye's interview with Daniel Boala. I think Daniel Boala, for obvious reason, he's a good friend, but I haven't, in opposing camps, we are. For obvious reasons, he doesn't feel comfortable. But I think I might actually invite him. That was a good one to actually remind me of that. I would reach out to Daniel Boala to see if I can have an interview with him on that case, but because people, we must tell the Nigerians, we must tell everyone the real story of what is happening, why some people are running away from going to a debate or a conversation or a town hall, whatever you call it, and why they may never even attend any of that. No, Onyenimo, you're not blocked. You're here. Let's see. Your comment is here. You're not blocked. You're, as a subscriber. Recall that whenever we now do these things. Oh, I have Tony joining from Enugu. Wow, Tony, be at the background. I will bring you in at the appropriate time. But can you also help us to share? That's all we are asking. Okay? So, Tony, if you're in an environment that is very okay, I may have to bring you in, but I cannot see you. Maybe NEPA has done you. Tony, are you there? Tony, are you there?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Why are you in a dark place?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tony, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
You are in a dark place, Tony.
Oh, I think I am having, yeah.
Okay, Tony.
My camera, I don't know.
No, it's fine. Let's go ahead now. Oh, I can see a light at the end. It appears you don't have light.
Okay.
There is no electricity.
No,
in your-
there's no light.
Okay. Osa Osagi watching from the United Kingdom. I can see you guys. About Tony, how is Enugu today? How has it been?
Well, Enugu is cool.
Mm.
No, stress so
No
far.
incidents
But
on the.
no incident for now.
Okay.
It's cool for now.
Where exactly in Enugu are you joining us from?
Independence layout.
You are not independent now. If you are in the independent layout and you don't even have light.
No, it's a transformer issue. No problem. I had to come out. I had to come out for better reception.
Oh, okay. So you're not even only suffering one thing. Not that you are only suffering. You're suffering. Oh, wow. Anyway, it's nice having you from Enugu.
It's a Nigerian thing. It's a Nigerian. Thank you.
So let's go ahead. If you wish to join back when we get to the conversation, everyone joining, then I can bring you back. Tony, thank you for joining us from Enugu. So some of you are not nice. Some of you are saying light today independent layout. Are you in independent layout? Someone from independent layout is telling you there's no light in independent layout and you don't believe him. I believe him though, because as he said, it's a transformer issue. Okay. So don't, or someone, some of you, Onyanimo says, power surge, chop the wire. So maybe power surge has taken their cables. Okay, people, let's quickly bring in the, like I said before, the Arise team in. Let's do this and let's get our hands dirty and pay attention to this.
The spokesman of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, Festus on Wednesday, responded social media claims alleged that the All Progressives Congress flag bearer, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, forfeited funds linked to drug trafficking in his bank accounts to the United States government, stating that the funds were tax deductions and not drug proceeds. Well, on Tuesday, social media was awash with what appeared to be certified true copies of a settlement order issued by a U.S. court in Illinois regarding forfeiture of funds in some bank accounts linked to Tinubu. Well, according to the court documents, there were probable cause to believe that the funds in the bank accounts were proceeds of narcotics trafficking. Keyamo, while speaking during a live television interview, said that Tinubu was not sued or indicted on any charge. The spokesman of the APC presidential campaign, Bayo Ononuga, has also weighed in on the allegations. He described the documents in circulation as a campaign of calumny, adding that muckrakers are back in business. Well, let's take some tweets. Well, this is from Ayomide, who wrote, Tinubu was an employee treasurer who earned $2,400 monthly, but he had 10 accounts in 3 banks with over $2 million in them. How did he make the money? That's the question that they have not always answered. Well, journalist David Hudeyin wrote, he actually called Festus Keyamo a despicable liar for defending the documents and challenged him to a discussion, stating, end quote, "You cannot lie like this in 2022. I will destroy you in less than 7 minutes if you agree to discuss the story with me on any television station of your choice. This is an open challenge." Well, Emmanuel wrote, "Can never be convicted of drug offense in the United States and settle it with forfeiture. Never. It would have been jailed straight for Tinubu if truly he was convicted of narcotics stealing. The United States don't joke with drug offense. Hence, I am convinced that Tinubu was not convicted of a drug offense." Dr. Bati, while I catch my breath, over to you for your comments on this story.
Well, you see, the thing about
I think before Ruben Abati waits in here, I think there is the last statement by, by the lady in the studio is very instructive. The last tweet that in the United States of America, you cannot be convicted of, or you cannot pay, or rather, you cannot forfeit assets if it was related to drugs. true and partially not. These are things we will explain and explore tomorrow with my guest tomorrow, 7 o'clock, who is also a lawyer that practiced in the United States and that is very, very aware of this case and has some level of interest in that, or was kind of, I wouldn't say it was part of it. What that last statement meant, if you actually look at it critically, this thing is very straightforward. You may not be the drug carrier yourself, but you could be someone who is warehousing drug money. The previous tweet before the last clearly asked a question. How did you, a man who makes $2,400 a month, okay, let's for argument's sake, he's one of the best. He makes $10,000 a month, for argument's sake, which nobody does, $10,000 a month. It means in a year, you only have $120,000 in a year. $120,000 in a year, it will take you 10 years to have $1.2 million, assuming you don't eat, you don't pay any bill, you had no cars, and you don't even go to the loo. Just basically $10,000, that's how long it's going to take you. There is a reason why people take mortgage, because these are things you pay over 30 years, 20, minimum 25 or okay, less. By default, 25 to 30 years. So over the time, they are taking it, you pay your interest. So assuming you are not eating, you are not doing anything, it's going to take you 1.2 million. But now, 460,000, assuming you earn 100,000 per year, 120,000 per year. You know how long it will take you, assuming you're doing any other thing. But here is an individual, according to the information, at presently about 2,400 a year. In 10 months, that's only about 24,000. So let's make it easier for us. Let's say 5,000, 60,000 a year, and you do nothing. 60,000 to have that millions of money, and they're now saying tax. That these are tax deductible that he didn't get. Now, if that was the case, why don't we, after you pay tax, many of you working abroad know what I mean. You do your annual returns. Even if you were fined, you will still see this is how much you actually paid. But again, how come that's not happening? Oh, Laura Queen, the dotted one. How are you? Longest time. I haven't seen you in a long while, Laura. We didn't see you when we came to Manchester the other time, beginning of last month. I'm aware, but it appears you dodged us. So now this is my input before Ruben Abati, says anything here. Let's go back and listen to Ruben.
Politics is that if you go into politics, you must be ready to hear the story of how your mother met your father. And how, you were conceived.
It's not even like that in politics compared to, when in the Igbo nation, they kill a cow and the male, that is Umunna, come to share those piecemeal. It could be just small lump like this. If you want to know who your real father is, just go there and take one meat before anyone that seniors you. You will hear your true life story. So what Abati is saying is also
some may even doubt your paternity. It's the nature of politics, either in Nigeria or elsewhere. In the case of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, all of these stories are not new. Since he became governor of Lagos State in 1999, all of these stories have been in the public domain. And that's why Mr. Bayo Ononuga said the muckrakers are back in business, because it's an old story. Okay? Keyabo's defense is that if you look at paragraph 38 of the same document that you put out there. I think that's an affidavit, right?
Yes.
Or, yeah, it's an affidavit, which is also something that people should be very careful about. He said, if you look at paragraph 38, the document talks about tax, that these are tax deductions, and that the processes are mere, speculations. So what do you expect? The APC is bound to respond. But as a person, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been dealing with all these allegations since 1999. And,
is it the reason why Asiwaju does not attend debate? Is he afraid that if he attends, like, when Dino asked Peter Obi specific question, if I was in that part, I think next time I must endeavor to attend. Because if I was there, the only question I'll ask is this question. The question that will remove boxers and impute half shimmy. That is the type of question that I'll ask, not any baby peeping question.
It's not been taken to task anywhere, to the best of my knowledge, in this regard. But in political seasons, yes, every mud will be thrown at you from whatever direction, just to discredit your candidate, just to malign you, lower your integrity in the estimation of right-thinking members of a society. That's just about that,
Well, Rufai, I kind of agree with my last Twitter user there. I mean, I'm not in the FBI, but I feel like, drug trafficking is a huge offense. And, for you to be charged with that and then forfeit, I believe it was $490,000 of your money, in exchange for jail term is quite unheard of. I don't know if you've heard of anything like that.
The first question I should ask is, was there a forfeiture?
Exactly.
Yes. When did it happen? It happened a couple of years ago in America. This issue has been on for some time now. It's political season, everything will come up, but we should also introspect deeper.
Yes.
Because you see, the question here is about character of people that want to lead our country. And it has to be said. And that's why when any candidate has this, they must come to explain beyond reasonable doubt.
That's
somebody asked a question in your tweet that how does somebody that was earning $2,400 a month earn all that money? I think
exactly. See, that is the thing. When I say this, there are things that we have in common with Rufai here. That is basic common sense. You saw how Ruben Abbott intentionally boycotted that part of it. Because the question, like Abbott is now putting it very well, was there a forfeiture? And if it was, why can't you come out with your own mouth, not through proxy, and explain what actually happened? Two, if this forfeiture happened, why are you not telling the story yourself? And if you are earning 2,000, like Tony Echerenna now is saying that people earn over $10,000 in the United States. Of course, many of us have worked internationally. We know how much that pays, but that is not the question. The question is, as of 1993, if it was today, yes, he might be making above 10,000. I think I have someone in the studio who is joining from America as well. If it was in 1993, he may be making, for me, the only way to times that is probably times that by 3, whatever he was making then, times it by 3 or by 4. Then you get the current, amount that he may be making. Now, and no one makes 10,000, even doctors in America that make about $250,000 per annum. But 250,000 doesn't mean that they pay 250,000 and that's 250,000 is yours. That's still gross. You're still going to pay your insurance. You're still going to pay your mortgage. You're still going to pay your car note. So assuming you're earning, 20,000 a month, you might be surprised that the person that earns 20,000 a month does not, at the end of the month, after paying all the bills, does not have 1,500. 1,000. Whoever has 1,500, $1,500 in America at the end of every month must be a rich person. Because for you to pay all these expenses, be it in England, you pay your council tax, you pay your, you pay your road tax, you pay all these taxes, you pay your NI, you pay, if you have private insurance, if you have life insurance, by the time you pay it, even if you are among those that earn, that are at the upper or middle band of, paying 40%. You know what that means? The threshold in the United Kingdom that you need to be on for you to pay that tax of 40% band. Even if you are the upper or the middle level of that, and you live comfortably, you're not living in a box room while you earn such, and you don't only drink water, as long as you eat food once in a while, you may go and eat out. There is no way you can even have 1,000 after much expenditure. So these things, not talk of savings or not talk of money you have in an account. Come on, people. Come on. Taxes no be your mate. This is not Nigeria where people make 50 billion and 50 billion is theirs and no taxes paid.
I think there's some explanation that needs to be done with documents. Because these things come out during election season. But people come out with documents to explain. That's why I want the APC. Apart from the explanation of, Mr. Keyamo that I felt was quite condescending on the journalist, saying, I want to school you, pick a pen and paper. I think that's wrong. I think people should not do that. It's a critical matter on ground. And when people ask questions, you supply them with answers as much as you can. So apart from that, I think they should also get more people to come explain all of this. Because it's constantly about a character question. And people have asked, even what's the name of the candidate? Who is this candidate? What school did he attend? And the likes. Because
see, this Rofar, this man likes violence very well. He likes dragging. They are talking about this now. He's already dragging, saying, can we even know this guy? According to the American document, I personally do not have issue with his age, because the American document actually when I was reviewing it yesterday, in one of the pages, he says that Tinubu, who with DOB, that is date of birth, 1952. So as of that time that he went to America, he was already. So many of us that kind of keep hammering on this age of a thing. Unless before 1990, before he ever went to America, he was already planning that these things will happen. And not that no one could ever go now from Nigeria to go and mess American records. And then this is an investigation. And his date of birth, his passport was used. So I believe, seeing that document that he was born in 1952, I think I can't remember if it's September or March, but whichever month, all I know is that he is approaching 71 now, according to that document. That means in terms of age, then we shouldn't be speculating more on that, because the informations are out there.
Some of these issues also came up when he was governor. And you remember how the National Assembly had to settle that this same Festus Keyamo, it was Festus Keyamo v. House of Assembly in Lagos. He was the one that took then the National Assembly, the House of Assembly, and Bola Tinubu to court.
Why? When Festus Keyamo was doing that, that's when he hasn't seen the light. Now he has been bought over. He has seen the light. He has been up now. Oh, Laura Quinn, thank you very much for the super chat. I assume that was the last one, Peter Obi. I would like to get involved in other activities to support his campaign. Okay, I would send you, the things to do. You can join us you can join the campaign through the support group that I am involved with. So for many of you also who are, who want to support, you can support the campaign through these PayPal, because especially for those of you in diaspora, we've understood that is always or almost the easiest way for you guys to sponsor, and we use that. Most the funds there to really fund the online activities, in terms of digital marketing. I believe you guys understand what that means. So Laura Quinn, I thank you once more for that super chat. So let's come back to the issue here. But those who want to support the campaign, you can see that their account at youtube.com. Please go ahead and do that if you wish to. And again, those trying to, willing to support us, we do appreciate every single support that we get from you, like Laura has done now. And to do what Laura has done, it is very easy. In the comment section, you'll see the $sign. Click it. it will guide you appropriately. In the spirit, I believe you're going to be in the spirit.
About another case, the veracity of the university he went to. He was the one. So he's been on the opposing side. Now he's been on this side now.
Rufai, you should be coming down. Your violence. Don't remove. Somebody is wearing a boxer, please. Don't remove it. How can you be asking this question? When Kayamo was very vibrant and he was asking those questions, he wasn't eating. Now he is on the table. Rufai, you should know that it is very un-African to eat while you're talking. Sorry, to talk while you're eating. So the guy is eating now. He can't talk. And if he's talking, he's now muffled and with some filters. So you should know that.
Because of politics and interest change. But we should interrogate further. And I think a lot more explanation needs to be made. Yeah, if he says he's not been indicted, let's come up with more explanation. Let's come up with more documents. Let's be able to look at this. And let's also follow the money trail. How can somebody that was earning a certain amount all of a sudden have 10 different accounts?
Now, listen, if you're watching me and you're genuine in whatever you do, if you're watching me and you're not a Yahoo blaster, and you're not someone peddling drugs, why on earth would you have 10 accounts? 10. How about? 10 accounts.
That had a lot of money. What was the association with other people mentioned in that case that may be related to this?
Kayamo said he shared a flat with one of them. So, Rufai, let me be explaining to you. You see, sometimes these guys say these things and you wonder what they take us for. Omoye Connor says he should remove everything. Omoye, please, make them leave half shimi for them. Or Biko. If you remove everything now, all the organic will be dangling, please.
So we need more documents, we need more explanation, because you see, my fear, debts like this for presidential candidates are critical. You know why? We've had scenarios where other countries in the world, and when they have debts like this on your presidential candidate, they use to hold your country to hostage. Yeah. And we should be careful. You remember how America treated, Nicaragua with Noriega. So we need to investigate, and this should be proven beyond reasonable doubt. So a lot more explanation needs to be done. We need to see documents as regards this to explain all of this for us.
Well, all right, we're fine. We'll take another story.
See, so that is the story here. Now, while it is now our own time to come and water. So those of you who wish to have, if you have an opinion to what you've heard and you think that Rufai is right or Kayamo is wrong or this one. So if you go to YouTube, you're watching us on YouTube, now you can click on the pinned message and you come. On that note, I have the privilege of bringing Godwin, be my first guest here. Godwin, you're welcome. Godwin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So you're welcome to Njenje.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your internet appears to be slowing down. Godwin, you may have to change location. Where are you joining me from, Godwin? Because I think it's still daylight where you are. Where are you joining me? It's not working. Godwin, if you're watching, what you're going to do, log out and come back in. Please log out, ensure you are in a better place with a better connection, then you can come back. I have Chris Agama, please. Chris, turn on your camera. The condition of coming in hasn't changed. You turn on your camera, make sure you are sitting upright, not lying down. The moment that is done, you can come in. I have Chris Agama here. Chris, are you there? Chris, are you there? See, I don't know what's happening this evening. All of you, weather generator day, warrior, been waiting. So please clear your environment. So let's see if we can bring Godwin back again. Chidi, Domike, thank you very much for that. Thank you. Godwin, are you there? Godwin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you now. What's
Is
your
it better?
Yes, it's better now.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I was saying earlier that what is going on in political space in Nigeria is getting more and more interesting. And what I don't understand is how old men can be lying through their. Okay, let us even analyze the whole thing holistically. Let's check it holistically. If we want to say, okay, let's put it ugly and beautiful. For someone vying for such an important position in Nigeria, number one man, who will be number one man in Nigeria, should he even be named in money laundering or in anything theft at all, in anything of that nature? So it's ugly. It's very ugly. Okay, if we want to say, okay, let us drive it into spirituality. Okay, maybe there is a room for repentance. Let Bola Tinubu come and say openly, yes, I'm guilty, but I repent. Then we can understand.
But you cannot.
I wouldn't want a situation whereby tomorrow.
But that will have a larger impact if he says he repents. So
I'm just making an excuse for this man, Mazi. But he has no. There is no reason why he should be in the corridor of any post in Nigeria at all. He has no place there. Okay, I live in the US. I have lived in the US now for years. Okay, how can a man make such an amount of money? Weird. The only thing that can give you that amount of money within that short period of time is drugs, opioids, stimulants. Okay, so and the painful aspect of it is that the media consistently are trivializing it, making less and less and less of what is going on, something that is critical. Look at Albert downplaying something as weighty as that. My heart bleeds. My heart bleeds. Why would you come up to say, or because of politics, some things are coming up? In the first place, Bola shouldn't even come close to that arena called politics. I'm just vexed, honestly.
You know, there are at times that people would want to go regional in terms of saying that this is Yoruba against the Igbo. But we must also be quick to point them that if the table had turned, that this is about the integrity in question, because if someone like Professor Yemi Osibanjo was to be the one in these shoes against one of our brothers from the Southeast, I don't want to mention people, but some people in the Southeast that I know that many of us would have been a case of, okay, it's Osibanjo all the way, against those people, because obviously, for obvious reasons. But as this is going, as this keeps unfolding, you keep asking yourself, where is morality in all this? What is that moral compact? Or does it mean that moral compact in politics is totally broken? Because these are things that there are some baggages. I mean, that's maybe because it's Nigeria. There are some baggages that I bet that if it was to be, even in that same country that this thing happened, that individual would have honorably resigned. In the United Kingdom, a couple of years back, a seven minister was jailed. Why? Because he got a ticket, red light ticket. He didn't stop at the stop sign. But when the ticket came in, the wife took that ticket on his behalf without saying the truth that was the husband driving. So he took the punishment. Some point was added to the license of the lead. But when eventually they now got divorced, out of trying to get out, back to the wife, or to the husband, or to the ex-husband, she now had to come up and say, "Oh, my husband at so point, who is now a minister, did this." Both went to jail. Well or what? A UK Prime Minister resigned because he went to party, and the whole nation is telling him, "Oh, we no longer have confidence." He didn't steal money. He wasn't engaged in drug trafficking. That he went to party. Imagine now in Nigeria, they say Buhari went to party, he should resign. I mean, there are things that are too foreign to us, and that's why I keep saying it is about the individual, and it is about this, where is can you share that? I'll share can you share with me that link of Boala's interview, please? So I have another person joining us, Penny Voice. Hello, are you there? Mayor Voices, sorry. Yes. And we have good light. You are not on. If you turn on your camera, we can bring you in. So Mayor Voices, go ahead.
Hello, Mazi.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I really appreciate the work you're doing. It's really amazing. I've been following the movement and your work so far. It's great. I really want to appreciate you for this that you've given to us, the Nigerian youth, Nigerian people, to be able to express ourselves. It's really terrible, the society we find ourselves. I listened to the guy that just spoke now from the US. I think I flow with his line of thought. In a country like Nigeria, this is the presidential election. A man that is vying for the highest seat with such questionable character, it's amazing. It's not what should even be heard about. It just shows how much our society has, our level of morality has so dropped that we don't even value things like this. In the US, at least, what I know that the drug issue is a very serious issue. But like in Nigeria, the laws are so watered down. So people don't really, our values are so low. So a man like that, of such character, should not even near the corridor of power, of seeking power. Talk more of seeking the highest, the highest position in a country. It's really appalling. I really think that this is the right time. The Nigerian people, the Nigerian youth, we should be able to go out there and get our PVCs to work and vote out this evil element from our society. Thank you.
So thank you very much for that wonderful submission. Basically your submission, if I may summarize it in this way.
Yeah.
You are saying that if the legal system fails us, Nigerians must take the bull by the horn by not failing themselves, by means of ensuring that they get their PVC and using it to be needful. Now I have now seen the interview with Boala, And hopefully I will be bringing that interview up for us to quickly have a look. So I think that's politics today with
thank you for having me. Why is your party interested in it?
So let me bring Bola in now. Sorry. Quickly, let's bring Bola in again. Sorry about that.
Thank you for having me. Why is your party interested in this matter? Well, because yesterday the spokesman for APC reeled out falsehood. He misled Nigerians in the area of interpreting the law. He misled Nigerians in the area of marshalling out the facts. He was economical with respect to certain documents. So let me put it this way. It was the documents that are flying. But let me even say this before the document. When you show interest, the first question that I asked was why your party is interested. Yes, we're interested because as a political party, we are all gunning for the post of the presidency. Everybody, Atiku has thrown himself to the field, same with Asiwaju. And facts came to the public forum and they misled Nigerians. It behoves of our party to come to the media space, join issues, and distill facts and reel out the truth as they are, which is why we're here today. And that's why I said, first of all, their first quarrel is that this thing happened 30 years ago. It doesn't matter if it is 100 years. If you are vying for a public office, you must be willing to be scrutinized. The reason is because the man who will become the president, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that's why they have what they call cultivating. Must be somebody that the nation have an idea of his life when it started to where he is today. So he does not become an object of blackmail or a national security threat. So the fact that it came after 30 years is a non-issue. So let's take it from one after the other, because there was the issue from the matter of forfeiture and whether or not there was a kind of plea bargain, because these are some of the issues that the letter said dismissed yesterday. Perhaps you have alternative facts to this matter in law, because he said there was no, it was a forfeiture, but I mean, there was no indictment. What indictment means, you'll probably be able also to shed light. There are a plethora of issues that you raised, which I'd like you to respond to. But first and foremost, let's dwell on the premise of what happened. It's called statute of limitation, isn't it? I mean, when something has happened over the past years, and now it's happening in other jurisdictions, does it affect that person in Nigeria, on the Nigerian soil? No, the question of statute of limitation does not actually arise, because one, if it was a crime, it was committed under the laws of the United States, and the laws of Nigeria is different from the laws of the US.
Was it a crime?
No, as if it is a crime.
I'm asking if it was a crime.
If it was a crime. You're asking if it was
the incident, that scenario that happened.
No. Money laundering, dealing with narcotics, criminal offenses, set out by separate laws in the United States. The US government introduced what they call non-conviction-based recovery. Because the way they operate is, if they are going to prosecute you on a crime that investigation suggests, they are going to spend a lot of money. And whatever is the proceeds of crime that they are targeting, they may not be able to get a hold of it until the conclusion of the trial. But because under non-conviction-based recovery, the idea is to recover as fast as possible the proceeds of crime. Now apply what we call the forfeiture proceedings. Forfeiture is a civil proceeding. Yes, it is, not a criminal proceeding. But the elements that are argued before the civil court under forfeiture proceedings are elements of crime. It is the election petition tribunal. It's a sui generis. It is just the proceedings that is civil, but the ingredients on which the prosecutor will convince the judge that this asset and this asset and this asset are proceeds of crime under the laws of UNIDEC are criminal offense, criminal elements.
So let me ask, from that scenario, was Bola Tinubu indicted?
Yes, indictment is an allegation. There's a difference between conviction. Yes, he was indicted. But was he convicted criminally? The answer is no. Because he didn't go to trial. Pardon? He did not go to trial. Yes, so under non-conviction-based recovery, there are three types of plea, right? There is a plea of guilt, there is a not guilty, and there is no contest. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at the time that indictment was brought before the judge, decided to contest it, it will go into full trial, and if the elements are proven, it may lead to his prosecution. What most defendants do in the US is that they don't want a situation where they will be further exposed. So they can afford to let go of the asset. That's why they enter what we call non-contest, what they call nolle contendere. In under Latin, that you're not contesting, you're not saying, I am not guilty, I'm also not contending. So whatever you see, you can just carry it. But here lies the issue, and Nigerians must know. It is the moral burden that the nation is confronted by. Somebody who has not denied, has in fact...
And they say, I didn't watch this interview before now, but you can see that he's eventually landed to the same position that I took before now. The moral burden, the case of moral burden, the case of morality. If you want to do this, how is it going to look? That is the case of that moral burden. I have Tony. Tony, if you may unmute, I think you had multiple tabs open. I hope you've closed them now. You can unmute and say something, Tony. I hope you've closed them now. You can unmute and say something. Tony, please close the multiple tabs you have open, please. I will have to remove you when you do that. We can let me know in the back office. I will bring you back. So Mayor's voice is, if you've heard what he said in this first segment, and what's your take?
Yeah, my take is just like where I was standing before, the moral implication. You know, we're talking about a country made up of more than 215 million persons, and you are coming out to lead that country. You're coming out to be the face of the country. You are going to be representing the country in the UN, in the US, in virtually every nation of the world. That should be an upright, somebody with a good, telling qualities, and any form of encumbrance, like you're talking about drugs issues right now, narcotics. It's already an indictment. It's an ugly situation. It's not what should be mentioned as a leader who is coming to lead. Of course, Nigeria, the Africa's most populous black nation. You are going to be the face of the black race before the world. So it's a heavy burden, it's a weight, it's a big one. So any man who is coming to vie for that office, you should be prepared. You should be someone of real strong character. I think that's my take.
Okay.
Moral burden.
Okay, thank you very much. I think Tony is back.
Okay. Yeah.
Tony, I think you're still logged on with multiple.
Yeah.
Can you just close all the browsers, please? When you come back, that's easy.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
Please do that and come back, please. So let's, Rona, go ahead and do this before we run down.
Cooperated with the government of Unionists, right? About a process of crime traceable to his account. Because if you look at the document, and I think, if you give me 1 minute, we understand that. 3 separate documents. There is one that is the affidavit. The affidavit set out the facts and what the prosecutor was seeking to achieve. Number 2, there is the verdict. The verdict is depending on the court. So the affidavit established a probable cause, and the verdict says that the probable cause has been established under the relevant laws, that those assets that they were seizing were actually seeds of crime. What they do under non-conviction-based recovery is that once that ex parte application is moved, the judge must say that the defendant be put on notice. who are the defendants. If you look at that proof of service, which is another document, you will see United States of America as plaintiff and Bola Tinubu as a defendant.
It's actually the first document on this set of documents. Even the producer can go back to it, and is on the left corner of the screen.
Right.
If you can go back to that, so the viewers can see.
Very important. So when you see that proof of service presupposes, you will see in clear terms the United States government and the defendant.
So Bola Tinubu was a defendant in that matter.
The account, yes, he is a defendant because he's linked. You see, the owner of the account and the account are like two semesters. They are umbilically bound. That's why even if you look at that, when the accounts were, established as defendant, they say belonging to Bola Tinubu. And when the court said that the defendant be asked to come and show reason why it should not be finally forfeited, who are the people, the defendant the court is talking about?
It's Tinubu.
Account number comes to court. No, the owners of the account should come to court. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not contest. He, in fact, cooperated to release it. This is where he cannot separate himself from the account. So
now, if you find 500,000 Mazi's account, as many of you have just, let's say after when we finish this, some of you will just bless us in our account, and somebody comes in and say, Mazi, this 500 you have, 500,000 you people receive from this, we are questioning it. Isn't it right to just go, okay, this is the account, this is, the 500,000, this is how we made it, this is how we came in, as opposed to saying, oh, okay, maybe you can keep 300 and give me. The moment it gets to a point that you are willing to, like what Fred Ryan said here, who said that he lives in the US, and if FBI says he must come to defend, that he must come to court and answer for drug-related charges, that he will fight it in court to bitter end, to clear his name, since he's 100% sure that he hasn't done anything illegal. So the question, and that is where the moral burden comes in again, why did you not fight it to the end? You have not done something illegal and you've been charged. And if you are really clean, like, unless I give you my 1 naira, I would never allow anybody take my $1. If it happens. Because if you really sweated for your money, come on now, not be picking with the talk to. And Ebola, go ahead.
There is an argument which the learners who Mr. Keyamo argued yesterday on the program. He said forfeiture doesn't mean penalty. And it doesn't mean a fine, because I made reference to a portion of the Nigerian Constitution which made reference to the status of anyone who wants to seek the exalted office of the president, and whether or not such persons are being involved in any kind of indictment or convictions in the past, fine or penalty or whatsoever. But he said that forfeiture in that nature wasn't a penalty. But in law, was that a forfeiture? One. Yes, forfeiture. In law, that forfeiture is a penalty.
Yes, it is. You are forfeiting what rightfully you would have argued as your own. Why are you forfeiting it?
Exactly. If it's no longer crime, why is Beziani forfeiting some of the things? Jesus Christ. Honestly, sometimes I really struggle to understand how these people look in camera and just be, disgracing their unborn children, because in years they don't know the consequences of these things. 10, 20, 30 years from now, the children will be saying that these are the things you were saying.
Because investigation proves a link between you and that item, and that the item relates to narcotics. So narcotics and money laundering is a criminal offense. In fact, when he was fighting you yesterday, it was very unprofessional, quite frankly, because in our discipline of law, you don't look at your colleague, whether he's a student or a lawyer, I said, take pen and paper, and I'm teaching you. Very insulting.
You know the thing is, in this home business, you have been trained never to be emotional, never to draw anything to yourself, because it is not about the journalist. It is about the matter in which we will discuss. So as far as I'm concerned, that was the non-issue for me. But the fact is that we need to stay on the issue. The Nigerian people need to understand this matter, and we cannot erode them or to bamboozle them out of the issue. We need to stay on it.
Let me tell you
what matters to Nigerians, and the reason sitting on this chair today is because of the Nigerian and the Nigerian Constitution. And so the fact remains that those matters that Mr. Keyamo raised yesterday, whether or not you are agreeing with those matters, and whether or not in his own argument, they were right in your own eyes.
So everything he said yesterday, we are wrong. You see, I taught in the law school. I'm sorry that I have to say that. So we have several courses we teach in law school. Professional ethics is one of them. It is not enough for you to know the law. How you dispense the law, how you argue the law is as important as the knowledge of the law itself.
Yes.
And once you're losing an argument, we experience that sometimes in court. Once someone is losing an argument in court, the next thing you do is you will now descend into legal gutter to begin to challenge. There's no basis for you to say, apart from 2 prosecutors in Nigeria, there's 2 prosecutors that comes from 1 unprofessional because it's champatious. Number 2 is it patently false because you will count 30 prosecutors in Nigeria, you will not get to him. Number 3, consistently he used the term, I use my trained mind, trained prosecutor. Who trained him? He worked under Gani Fawehinmi. Gani Fawehinmi was throughout his life not known as a prosecutor. He was a human rights defense attorney. And when he said, I'm using my prosecutory or my intelligence or my prosecution mind, there are certain things a prosecutor looks at whenever he's confronted with a case. Number 1, the fact pattern. And number 2, inference. A man who was brought to the court, his account was brought to the court. At the time, the prosecutor's mind I'm talking about now, where was he working? How much was he earning? How much was the amount that the prosecutor saw?
So that there's the question mark on the source of the money.
Exactly. You cannot discuss this without questioning the source of this money. Honestly, I'm happy that Boala is asking these questions. Honestly, I'm lost.
So that's what the prosecutor thinks. I'm suggesting to his prosecutory mind. If the prosecutory mind is functional, these are the thoughts. How much was Bola earning?
2,400.
So how much he was earning, even if you multiply it by a number of years, the prosecutor will say, is it enough to have that large sum of money around that time?
You're raising this matter on the answer that needs to be gotten from the APC and the presidential candidate.
Yes.
Where the source of that money isn't it?
For the Nigerian people, the question is not just about the source is important, but for the Nigerian people there is still a cloud around drug-related offenses and drug-related activity with somebody who wants to be the number 1 citizen of the country. And I will tell you why. Because if you look at opium in Nigeria, very recently you saw the massive busting of cocaine in Nigeria. This idea of drugs and narcotics is a terrible case all over the world. And if someone has that questionable character is elected as a president, what it means is that it will embolden people who are into those activities. That is why the person has to come out clean. That is point number 1. Point number 2, and very important.
Exactly. If not, they will feel like you've elected our colleague. So let's now go into business.
From the drug. If you look at part 799 and part 680, 680 is a court of appeal case, 799 is a Supreme Court case. We are the spokesman, apart from the narcotic case, many years ago went to court and also challenged the certificate of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In part 680, actually volume 12, Nigerian Weekly Law Report, part 680, if you look at page 200 and paragraph 10, these are the words of Festus Keyamo. He said, in the final analysis, however, then he now alluded to all the certificates that he laid out in that affidavit. He said, Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented a dubious certificate. All right, so he has not refrained from that even though the judgment of that court dismissed that application because he did not attach affidavit under a summons, but one fact is clear, he has not come out today to say those things that I said in that case, I no longer believe them.
Let me quote part of what Mr. Keyamo said. Right. I'd like to get your response. He said, the document on the left, and I'd like my producers to, I told you to get this on soundbite so that, you know, people can be able to, understand as we did yesterday to follow the conversation. And that's perhaps the very first page of the first set of the document. He says, document on the left is the originating process, which indicates Tinubu was not a party to the case in rem. The right is a summons to the owner of the accounts to appear to defend the accounts, but does not make him a party. It is like a director appearing to defend a company. That is what Mr. Keyamo said.
And he said that, and he believed that.
It's the right document. Please, can you put the document, the very first set of document? Yeah, that's it.
He's saying that it is like, he's comparing it is like a director defending a company. Is the director not an alter ego of the company? Why do you think few days ago there was a judgment that Abdul Rashid Bawa should be committed to prison? Did he, as a person, alleged in that something violated the law? Well, because he was the chairman, the alter ego. Who is the owner of the account? How do you separate the owner and the account? Do you know the doctrine of confidentiality that exists between a banker and a customer relating to the account? Without an order of court, the bank does not have any right to disclose the details of a financial transaction. That is how inseparable your account is with you. And so when the account was done as a defendant, by the time the expert order was granted, the court said, let the defendant come and establish why it should not be given the final forfeiture. Who are the defendants? The owners of the account.
Let me now ask you again. There is a letter originated from the office, written, directed to the then Inspector General of Police. If you bring back that letter, the very blurry one, which was written by an attaché of the United States Embassy, which they were trying to find out about Bola Tinubu. And this is what Takapa Balogun was. He was written to his office. He was the then Inspector General of Police. This, in some way, the argument is that Bola Tinubu was exonerated by this document.
No, it was not. Is that what you're saying?
That's the argument that they don't have any record of Bola Tinubu.
That's because under civil forfeiture proceedings, as you can see,
it was not criminal.
Order, because the part of the document, you see the order of the court. After the order was given and the money was to be taken, underneath, you will see case closed. In other words, it is like you have convicted, I'm just using the term like in criminal case. When you have finished convicting somebody and you sentence, do you retry him again? That means that case, as far as that case is concerned, it is conclusively concluded, not in favor of Bola because he had to forfeit that. That's number one. Number two, I heard him yesterday saying it is the party who are just willing to know because they don't want to field him for the second time and they want to be, don't deceive Nigerians. His former boss, what is his name? The human rights activist. Gani was the one that started this case.
Yes.
He applied to the court for mandamus. He even asked to be given the right to prosecute the matter. It was Gani that sparked up this issue, and it was a legal matter. That's why the party was compelled. Even it was around that time that Festus Keyamo also went to court, and in addition to it, that the man's certificate too is a problem.
We need to wrap up now. On the final note, what is your summation on this matter?
I am afraid that the conclusion of this case is that from the eyes of the law, especially if you look at the constitutional provision you cited, Bola may be disqualified from contesting.
By who?
No, if the matter goes to court, interpreting that provision of the Constitution, because the finding in that civil proceedings has ended against him. That's why he forfeited that. And narcotics and money laundering, whether in America or in Nigeria, is a criminal offense.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel.
Now, the question is, if the PDP and Mr. Daniel Bola knows all these things and they want Nigerians to believe, why are they not heading to court? Daniel Bola and the PDP, I would have wished that Sean asked him this question, because to me, that would have been my closing remark. Why are you guys not heading to court? If you so believe that, Bola Tinubu is going to be, going to be convicted, just head to court and let these things be done once and for all. Again, the question that however they want to bamboozle you and I, maybe because the day we wanted to study about law, the teacher that was teaching us was knocked over, so we couldn't understand more than that. One thing remains very clear. Where is the moral uprightness? Where is the issue that ought to be addressed? How much was he earning? Where are the issues that ought to be addressed that are not being addressed? How much was Bola Tinubu earning as of that time? How much was he, saving? Because the question must be asked, and this is where Nigerians must look to understand what is happening, and they must take position as well. In taking position, that would mean if the Nigerian legal system and public opinion fails to do the needful, then it behoves on all Nigerians to do the needful themselves. Again, if they fail you, do not fail yourself. Because if you fail yourself when they failed you, then that means there is trouble in the land. I leave us with the following. Join us tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock Nigerian time. I will be having a legal man here who will be discussing this. And he understands the American legal system as well. He would have one or two things to tell us as the conversation joins. As the conversation starts tomorrow, 7 o'clock Nigeria here, or 6 o'clock UK. And you join us here. Remember, it is Friday Hangout. Friday Hangout, we will do it the way we do it. We roll. We roll as usual. I hope you understand it. On that note, I will say, as Buhari has said that Nigeria has gone from top to bottom under APC, let's work and do everything to ensure that come 2023, we will be climbing off from the bottomless pit that we have fallen into. And I say good night, everyone. I am
APC Nigeria from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom.
It's like a place on tumbling. Everything is not funny. They will play me fun. I play. My neighbor press.